Lucas,
Everett.
how are you doing?
I've been better. Yeah.
We got a diva down.
I am dealing with vertigo.
Oh, I was talking about Lindsey Graham. He pour one out for Lindsey Graham.
Forget my medical issues. Lindsey Graham, yes, he's down.
Yeah, you got vertigo. That's a real thing. What's happening? What happened to you?
I woke up. Have you ever woken up
Yes.
from a dream?
Oh.
Or you're in the middle of a dream and then all of a sudden you turn over in bed and then it feels like you're falling off of a cliff.
Sure.
I woke up and full on wanted to puke. And then I was spinning. I got the spins real bad. It was a whole thing.
Uh-huh.
So mommy's getting her electrolytes.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Listen, electrolytes. Some of us have struggled with our electrolyte intake recently.
Mm-hmm.
Like me, like you.
Well, do you want to tell the children what happened to you?
I fainted at the doctor today. I got some blood drawn. I had not eaten before. Skinny. And so, and Mr. Man inserted the needle into my vein. He's like, "You've got really good veins." And it hurt so bad, just enough that I just went, "Oh, Jesus." And then I said, "Well, I'll be goddamned." And I just keeled over.
See, when I heard, I just figured you saw your back psoriasis recurring.
I was like, no. I saw my reflection. Yeah, it was one of those. Yeah, I had to. They fully put me on the chair, angled me back so that my legs were higher than my heart, and I had to just sort of sit there with an ice pack and fan myself. It was peak drama. I did also say, "Diva down."
But we're both on the up and up.
Yes.
Because we are here in the studio today
We
with
have
one of our favorite
landed.
creators.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. This is a seminal moment in Let's Get Red podcast history.
Mm-hmm.
She's a thinker, she's a doer, she's a commentator, she's a content creator. She is the wind beneath my wings. She is Danisha Carter. Danisha, how are you?
I'm well. I was waiting to hear a few more things on that list. Skinny, talented, beautiful.
Before we started, I looked at her and I said, "You're the most beautiful person I've seen in weeks."
It does happen. If you're not prepared and you look at Danisha just and like, "Oh, Jesus,"
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
We live in LA. Everybody's beautiful.
Listen,
Not
now-
true.
Not in person, okay? And people
Okay,
do
fair.
frequently call you AI.
Fair.
Lucas,
Okay.
would you confirm for us, is Danisha AI?
No, you're real. And that's what's even almost annoying.
Yeah, she is actually annoying.
You just settled 5 years of rumors right there. Ended it all, closed many chapters.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So how would you classify yourself? Because I think of you as a social commentator, content creator. What would you tell someone you are?
That's what I'd say. Social
Okay.
commentary. Yeah. Because I think it covers all of the umbrellas, all of the niches that I end up in. I talk about feminism and women and relationships one week and then politics the next. And so social commentator is the easiest umbrella.
Yeah.
And I love how mad you make men.
They are real. I'm so sweet though. Who could be mad at me?
The men do get mad at you.
Who could be mad at me?
Now, you've been in the biz for a while. You've been doing this for close on a decade now, right? That you've been...
I would say I've been doing it successfully for 5 years, but in total, probably 10 to 15. Because I was on early Instagram,
Yeah.
not early YouTube, but earlier on YouTube before TikTok, and so probably a decade.
Yeah, and it's been you've gone through various permutations where you've had different audiences, different, I guess, like you said, niches that you filled. I'm curious, across all of those things, what stayed the same about you? What's the through line?
Honestly, and this might be a cop-out answer, but I think me. I've said whenever I'm giving people advice about creating content, you can either have a niche where you talk about only makeup or only music or only politics or only clothing, or you can be the niche, which is a little bit harder. And I think it's hard as a creator to figure out how to do that, how to brand that, how to get the audience to receive that well. But I think it's the better side of things if you become who people want to be around, not for what you're saying or doing specifically, but for you.
Yeah.
And so I think consistently I've been able to be the niche. And so early Twitter, early Instagram versions of Danisha were still very much so the Danisha Carter of the TikTok and the YouTube era, just younger,
Mm-hmm.
And what was your breakthrough moment where you realized oh, I'm in the big leagues now?
I don't even know if I'm in the big leagues now.
Girl, yes, you
There are
are.
a lot of people, I think the big leagues are a few pegs above me. But when I accepted that things were working or decided that things were working, it was TikTok. Like I had a couple really good TikTok takes early on, good in terms of performance. If you like or dislike them, it's up to you. But when then there was just consistent traction on TikTok, I think is when I was like, oh, okay, this is different. And then, you have management conversations about your content creation and you're invited to events. And it's like, okay, this is very different from just waking up and posting from my room every day.
Right. Well, also people seek you out nowadays. Like they frequently want Danisha's opinion on X, Y, and Z, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Maybe you're invited to, a convention, a political convention to do some commentary. You're invited to the White House for things. Like these days, we'll leave that on red.
Maybe someday we'll circle back.
Yeah. We'll check after 2030. We'll see what we're working with at that point. I'm in your time, because again, the men I've seen online, like she's not real, she's AI.
Yeah.
Or like people find it really easy to just assign a label to you. I'm curious, has any label other than the AI one really caught your eyes for? It's like, no, that's not fucking true.
I mean, not really, outside of if you address like rumors or like things that you see about yourself. But in terms of like a billboard or headline, I think the AI has been the only thing that's really gotten traction and trended. And in the defense of that conversation, so how that came to be is my TikTok format is very formulaic, if you will. I'm always super zoomed in, close to the camera, speaking in a very monotone voice, just giving my opinion. And it's been that way for 5 years. And so when I first gave a couple of takes, when I had under 10,000 followers, people were like, is this real? Is this AI? I'm like, well, what's going on here? And then it kind of became a joke between my following who knew I was real and just said that to kind of troll. And then as I grew and grew and grew, we've kind of kept it, between us. Is it real? Is it fake? And, it's escaped containment now. And it is what it is. But that's always been the callback of like, whatever.
I mean, Bob and Monet talked. Addressed.
It was in a Verge article and used as like a talking point.
Wait, I don't know anything about this. Bob and Monet talked about you?
Yeah, there was a snippet on Bob the Drag Queen's show. I don't remember what the topic specifically was. It might have legitimately been AI or not knowing who.
I think it was influencers was the
something like that.
Like that.
But I was referenced and they were like, well, people thought she was AI because of the formulaic way that I posted, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, yeah, like it works. It's caught attention. People have written articles about it and it's branched off its own conversations about internet safety and like the impact AI has been having, but it started as a joke. And I think it's still funny.
Yeah.
What a great diss. That's sort of a compliment because they're saying you look and sound and are so perfect that it can't be real.
And again, there's been a lot of, all of the videos being the same, I get it. Then I think in the beginning I used like a pretty grainy filter to kind of play into it more. And
I mean, we all did.
We would go live and I would do dual live streams where I would go live with random men and just like be very ex machina, like, oh, you seem very emotional. Do you want to take a moment and calm down? And they would freak out. And so it's like we played into it very heavily and probably still will. So I get why people think it.
Yeah.
And when you speak, you are very like you stand in what you say. There's not a whole lot of ums. There's not a whole lot of stuttering. You say that shit with like your whole chest. So it's like, oh, this is a script that AI's reading.
See?
Yeah.
He's buying into it. He's going for it.
You are the opposite of what we are actually going to be discussing today, which is pick-me's.
But you are an authority, I feel like, which is why we brought you here today.
Exactly. How would you describe a pick-me?
Someone who is willing to sacrifice their self-respect, the self-respect of others, sometimes the safety of others, their own safety, to be picked in whatever context that would be, most often referring to the dynamics of men and women, and then men and men, women and women, people wanting to get picked in politics. You can kind of use it.
Lindsey Graham.
Yeah.
When I think of it just from like, and I'm sad that my head goes immediately to women, but I just think of the girl that's so desperate to be married or desperate to find a man. Where does your head go?
I immediately think of those homosexuals who post their videos in Pride Month. I'm like, I'm over Pride. LGB minus T.
All of the pick-me variety. And it's unfortunate that it seems like every insult that we have either stems from misogyny or racism. So obviously your brain goes to women first. That's who it's used against most often.
Totally.
And I think who is probably socialized the most to have pick-me characteristics. So it's like,
Well, and then even I think of like, we live in LA, and obviously I don't want to take too many shots at gay people on this podcast, but
No, go on, do it.
the Insta
July.
gays where it's just every photo they're naked and every photo like is them selling their body, and in a way, I guess that's a pick me, but now it's become a part of their brand where if they're doing sex work, it's like, well, I guess that's just marketing. But
Don't you talk about my dermatologist like that.
he does not do that.
I was like, on the record, I would never say anything about gay people and the way that they engage. I think it's all beautiful. Just keep that in mind.
Link. Yeah, I mean, I hear what it is very, I mean, also as a comic, I'm the eternal pick me. I'm on
Absolutely.
stage tap dancing. It's like, please laugh at the dumb things I'm saying. If you don't, I feel sad.
I know, like you kind of can't extend it anywhere. It's like, who am I to call people to pick me? I'm like on social media. Please watch my video. Please share it and tell your friends.
Please share it on your main Insta story. Very important. Yeah. I mean, but there is somewhere in the same way that you can tell like that's real versus AI, you can tell like this is a person who just wants something versus this is a pick me.
Yeah.
And that line is something I'm always like especially in comedy, I can tell like,
Yeah. And again, I think the real differentiating factor is like how far you'll take it to be picked. Like wanting companionship, wanting love, wanting success in your career, comedy, wanting whatever it is you want is like one thing. And that can show up in many healthy or unhealthy ways. But I see that pick-me's are willing to hurt themselves or hurt others to be picked. And so it's like, you know, like you said, the gay people who will throw away the entire gay community for the sake of being the chosen gay person. The Black people who will do the same thing. Women who will say horrible things about women or do horrible things to women or help men do horrible things to women. Like it really extends to a horrific place.
yeah.
What are some symptoms of a pick me? Like, what are some, I guess, examples or red flags people can look out for?
I think, you know, again, and this isn't early, so it's probably not what you would see first, but the willingness to disrespect yourself or others for the approval of other people. There's always the trope or the joke that people make. I don't know if you guys have heard it, but if you're with your girlfriends and like your girlfriend starts saying weird, like mean things about you in front of a guy, like, oh, Everett, remember that time that you left 1 million dishes in the sink and it was filthy and we had mold over everything? Like, wasn't that so crazy, girl? Like,
Wait,
why
so
did you do that, Ev?
should I not have brought up his back psoriasis at the beginning?
like they'll do weird things like that where you're like, why are you? Or I've heard men say like when they're with their guy friends and all of a sudden a girl is around that they want to talk to, it's like all of a sudden he's the guy that's funny and he's the one who has money and like, remember when I got in that fight and like beat everybody up, bro? Like, I remember when that happened. Like people will say weird things to you to get attention and you're kind of just like, why are you like, what is going on right now? And it's to get the attention of the other person. And then just how little people will respect themselves. I think when you are not a pick-me, you don't tolerate certain behaviors. And when you see people constantly settle for something or constantly allow a certain type of relationship or person in their life, that's oftentimes a red flag. But there's probably heaps more. I think people will probably tell us as well.
Well, and I never know the line to cross of when my ego is getting in the way of being a pick-me, but I went to the Sundance Film Festival and
We got to pick me.
we gotta
pick me, everybody.
No, I felt bad. I'm like, I'm never going to make it in this town because if you've ever been to the Sundance Film Festival, you go not even to watch films, you go to all the networking events and the parties, and it's line after line after line, and you have to wait. And I'm like, why would I ever wait to get into a venue with hundreds and thousands of people? Like, do we have an invite? And then there were events where I had invites and whatever. And I'm like, I'm going to go to those. And my friends would be like, no, we got to be in this line. I'm like, I'm not waiting in line. It's freezing cold.
No, I don't. I'm not a wait in line person.
And I really did have this, and I would judge my friends who were willing to like I knew a few people who like bull rushed the door people to get into the thing. And I'm like, don't embarrass yourself. And more importantly, don't embarrass me. Because now I'm stuck here and they're looking at me mad.
Correct.
Yeah, I guess Lucas is kind of like not like other girls.
That's not what I'm saying, but
That's what I took away as well.
I'm just trying to say it's a slippery slope because I'm like, when is it appropriate to, I guess, bull rush the bouncer to get what you want? Because on the other hand of it, it's like those people want to get into that party. They will stop at nothing to get it. But then I'm like, oh, bitch, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if you have like a plan, if you've
I was
got,
going to say, it depends what it is.
yeah, I mean, Beyonce is on the other side of the thing, and you know that she's there because she's I don't know, like listening to demos at like a speed, like session of like that's maybe when you elbow your way in.
Yeah.
Like this is my shot.
Yeah.
But if just to shake hands with Greg Araki, like he won't remember me out of a crowd 5 minutes later.
But Beyonce will.
If your song's good.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I'm also the not like other girls. I don't like going to places if there's not some sort of accommodation. Like I don't wait in line either. I feel like
I hate lines.
But I also have been some places where like I would really like to get on the VIP side, and for some reason there's someone in the way of that, and you have to figure out if you're gonna haggle your way in, try to flex your way in and like muscle, which oftentimes doesn't work. Like,
have you done a Do You Know Who I Am?
I've not done a Do You Know Who I Am, but I've certainly done
Which means she hasn't gotten a DUI yet.
Yeah. That's very astute. Yes.
I've definitely done a like I was invited here, like I've worked on this, I have people who are backstage, like that type of thing.
Yeah.
Because like a Do You Know Who I Am doesn't hold much weight with security at venues because they don't know who you are. They don't know what that's supposed to mean. And so in their head, they're just like, all I know is if I move, I'm getting fired. And I need to get the $29 an hour. So I'm not gonna move.
Yeah. And it's just not worth it to let somebody.
Sometimes you can like befriend them though, and like, oh my God, do you mind if I just want to take a picture of it? And then you disappear on the other side and they'll just like let it go.
Classic.
Or you try to call and have someone come down and get you, and you do the thing where you're like, oh, they're just right there.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to venues where I'm performing. I'm on the lineup and I get a free drink. I get a free, and I don't even drink booze. So I'm getting a Diet Coke, and the bartender will be like, that'll be $2.50. And I'm like, I'm on the show. It's me. I'm on the flyer. That is the most degrading.
Who do you think you are, Carol Burnett?
Oh my God. It happened in Minnesota, in Minneapolis at that show. The bartender, he just was 3 drinks deep.
You mean the one who was shouting during our sets?
Sets, yeah. He pours me a Diet Coke, and then he's got 2 other customers, so he gives everybody their checks, and then it comes to me and it's like $2.
Well, and that was really embarrassing because we were performing on this show and they gave us a free meal, and he charged me for the meal and I just paid for it because I don't know, I should have just said I'm on the show and we get a free thing, but I was like, I don't want.
Did you not see me crushing for 20 minutes?
But then it's
Lucas crushed.
But then it's weird because I'm like, I don't want to fuck with your tip, so like I had that.
That's not weird at all. I would have said something. Or I've not been able to get in certain like venues for social media stuff specifically, and they are like really pissy at the door, and I'm just like, this is me. Like I like, hello. It's not often, but if you're in a mood, But you should say something if you're like talent and you're not being.
But then you run a slippery slope of, and by no means are we being talked about on Reddit threads, but like if someone's like, man, that comedian was a real shit show, and like this show my best friend was running, so I was like, I have to be on my best behavior. I don't want her to like, I don't know, have a bad rep because of me, but
sure. Yeah.
I think I also just have a lot of exposure though to people who are very much so like, what do you mean I can't bring 200 people back here? Like, what do you mean I can't have what I just asked for? What do you mean you don't serve this? Make it like, and it's like, oh,
God.
Oh
boy.
Great.
Yeah, that's to get to that level where you're like, what do you mean you don't have it? Just make it. Oh, what a dream.
Mind you, once you're at that level, that's when you should never behave like that. Like, that's when you really want to be like, take your time. Oh, yeah. Just get some, whatever you have. Like,
I just had a question occur to me. Okay, so you've met a pick-me or two in your professional capacity. In your experience, are pick-me's, are they okay off camera? Are they like just committed to the bit through and through? Or have you seen camera cuts and they're all of a sudden normal people again?
Depends. If they're like a pick-me who is intentionally being a pick-me, like grifting, like people who want to be picked in the Republican space or something, or like want to go viral on social media, they know they're lying. And so when they stop the show, they go back to like being their version of normal, which is still absurd, but it's not the same version. If it's someone who is like actually a pick-me, they don't know that they're doing that. And so they know that they're doing those behaviors, but they are normal behaviors to them. So they keep doing it.
It's just, I think about this all the time where, I think we probably see it mostly in the political commentator space where they are really just dancing as fast as they can. So somebody in the White House sees them and gives them the next press secretary.
It's very, very intentional. And there are people who like eventually stop the Republican grift and they'll give an interview afterwards, or like you'll talk to them and they'll be like, yeah, no, I was full of shit. And it's like
The entire cabinet right now. The entire cabinet.
Who was Melania's press secretary? Stephanie something or other. Like Omarosa tried to do that too, and tried to do her. Like, I've seen the light.
No.
It's a very difficult heel turn as well, especially when the administration is so bad. Because I posted a video. I don't know if you guys had seen it, but it was someone doing the evangelical preaching of like the letters in Pride Month spell out demon, and I've come to find like I caught it. Like anyway, I stitched it and I was like, can I please just grift for a minute? Like, can I please just do the religious grift? Like, just give me 3 videos. I'll do the rounds. I'll make the money. We'll split it each way. Like, whatever. Just let me get in on it. And so, like, a lot of the time, people, they know, and they're just don't have shame, I guess, about it.
Well, they're hearing what they want to hear.
Yeah. I mean, shame is probably the main thing that keeps people from like, I'm not going to lie to you. When I lived in Salt Lake City, it occurred to me briefly to put on, and this was 16, so this was Trump was just on the campaign trail. It occurred to me, was like, if I were to walk into a gay bar and be like, I love Republican, whatever Republican was leading, and then get thrown out and it's a big messy video, like, would that be dollar songs? Could I be made? Would I not have to work this fuck ass job anymore?
I have called him a grifter before behind his back.
I mean,
You did, yeah.
I mean, what I will say is I've been on TikTok Live and I've done like co-hosting TikTok debates, which I don't normally do. And the way that people will throw money at you for saying the talking points they want to hear. And mind you, these were legitimate talking points I believed in. Like I'm just a liberal in the space.
Yeah.
And people would just donate. I think I made like $500. I'll have a TikTok Live and I was on there for maybe an hour.
Damn.
And so I'm like, people do that every single day. And let's say the donations, a little above, a little less each time. You're making a good chunk of change to do really nothing. So if you kick it up a notch and you tap dance for a couple months and I love the Republicans, like, what the fuck? 50, 60,000 bucks, it starts to look a little different. And granted, obviously bigger picture, it's like, how do you come back from that? And then my issue I always have with the Republican grifting specifically is like, you're fucking up people who are actually going to suffer because of what you're saying. Like you're going to walk off with your 60K, 100K, whatever. And then like you've just helped contribute to the ruining of like many others. It's not worth it. But that's why people go for it. You start adding dollar signs because the Republicans put a lot of money into the grifting sphere. It's why it works so well, unfortunately. I wish that others would follow suit.
So on TikTok, there's a whole sub-universe, and there's obviously many different lanes to get famous now and many different kinds of content that's being made. But the one that I'm most fascinated by, as far as pick-me's go, are the vulnerability dumpers, the people who go viral because they share like one of the worst moments of their life. And then Wait, is that you? No, you are not. Is that how you got?
That'd be crazy as fuck.
Are you a vulnerable? Is that you?
Posting about your life on the internet is nuts.
But it's like more like I went through this horrible breakup and they capture you with... They capture you with the intimacy of their emotions, like the sadness.
Not our girl.
Is it? I've known you for like a year now, and I feel like I've been following and seeing. Danisha, come clean. Are you one of these girls?
Where the fuck is my publicist? Hello?
God.
I wouldn't say I fall into the vulnerability dumping category.
Are you crying on camera?
No.
That's what I'm talking about.
No. It's definitely a different approach, but it's approached.
But
It is approached.
I'm specifically talking about like the crying on camera, like they reel you in with the tears. And then I'm like, at what point in time, like you're doing it again 17 videos later.
Yeah.
And it's all that space.
I have a lot of comments. I think the first thing is rarely do I find it appropriate to cry on camera. I think the video of yourself crying makes sense if you're talking about your child being diagnosed with cancer.
Yep.
Even if you are telling a breakup story and in the one episode of the story, you find yourself moved to tears or something and like you cut it, whatever, I could see that. When people incessantly post crying, it gets very... something's going on and we don't need to be a part of whatever's going on. I also think we now live in an era where everything is posted on the internet. And I won't say that I don't post things on the internet. I don't take issue with that. But the internet is a cannon you can't aim and you can't control, and everybody likes to watch the show. And so if you get on the internet at the height of your emotions and you're wailing and screaming and posting every single second of your life, everyone in the comments is cheering you on as they're watching you have a mental breakdown. And I've seen that cycle many, many, many times. So I'm very apprehensive to consume that type of content. It doesn't, I don't love it.
Yeah. Well, and I actually found one the other day that I really related to, because this person was crying because he's not getting a job. He's applying for all these jobs and I'm unemployed right now. In fact, we were supposed to shoot like 2 weeks ago when I got laid off. I did text everyone and be like, I'm so sorry, but we have to cancel the shoot because I'm a mess. And now I'm like, if I come back to this person a week later and he's crying, I'm like, wait, is this video because he just got success with the first viral video? And the answer is probably yes. And I can't even blame him because he's maybe he's making coin. Like maybe he's doing the thing. I don't know.
I mean, it's just, you lose track of where's the actual authentic moment end. And I keep hearing authenticity is important. Except I'm not a success. What?
Real. Yeah, I also am very cautioned about having people that close to your life. I think it's very dangerous to tell the internet and show that much vulnerability on the internet. And I could just be jaded, or I've seen sides of the internet that aren't fun and bubbly. And I think people forget that you're never just talking to your audience. The internet is a big room that everybody is standing in, and not just everybody you've ever met who likes or dislikes you. The nicest, best, purest people on earth are in that room, and so are the most heinous, evil, darkest, scariest people you could even conceptualize.
Why can't the nice ones comment?
They're very quiet. They like to be to themselves. And so, dumping a lot of vulnerable fodder into a space where people get off on witnessing that and like lolcowing you and like doing all sorts, and again, I don't necessarily think that's where everybody ends up, but it's just something to be very mindful of. And I don't think people think about it enough when they like run to the internet and post 40 stories of them wailing and screaming and crying.
You haven't been made into a lolcow, have you?
No, because I'm not fun to pick. Like, I'm not fun to pick on. I'm very boring. The amusement of a lolcow, so I've heard, is
This is one of my favorite internet terms.
for legal purposes, is that you watch someone have a reaction continuously to whatever you're doing to provoke them. And so what I've seen on TikTok, genuinely what I've seen, unfortunately, is there are TikTokers who will drink a lot and they'll do series of themselves drinking to the point that they're incoherent almost. And then they'll go out into the world and interact with people. And what their subscribers and their followers and viewers will do is encourage them to drink or send them money to drink and say, like, I'm donating 20, I'm donating 50, like keep drinking.
Yeah.
And it's also usually someone who's not necessarily cognitively all there. And so they continue to engage in the behavior, and it's the attention that they're getting for the first time. They're not realizing they're being picked on. And that's what people are enjoying witnessing, someone have a mental breakdown over and over and over again. And then like, being a lolcow is not a good thing. Like it stems from very dark places on the internet. And the thing is, you're not supposed to touch the poop. So like you don't interact in a way that would let them know they're being picked on if they would catch on to it. And where that brings back to me, not that anyone should take this as a challenge, is like, if you've been on the internet long enough and you have a good support system and you are cognitively present, that type of provoking doesn't yield that type of reaction. And so you don't want a lolcow who you're going to leave a mean comment on and they're just not going to respond, or they're just going to delete it, or they're just going to keep posting. They want someone who's going to be like, why would you say that about me? And that's their entertainment cycle. It's very sick. It's very twisted.
I mean, it is kind of like what being a pick-me can metastasize into. Like if you don't treat it, the tumor just grows and consumes. Like I think of Johnny Somali. Do you know this streamer?
I don't think so.
He's an American, but he got kicked off of the normal stuff and had to stream on like Rumble and kick like in the fever swamps of the worst stream. And he would just be really racist and gross, and in Japan and South Korea and Israel, and I forget where he's from in the US, maybe Washington State, but he's just a legendarily awful human being. And he was, I've talked about him before on the pod, friend of the pod, Johnny Smalley. He's currently in prison in South Korea.
Oh,
I was going to say, don't use friend that loosely.
No, he's a terrible, terrible person. But he was defiling a statue raised to comfort women in the Second World War. Like, this is a statue commemorating women who were kidnapped by the Japanese army, and he was just twerking on it in South Korea, being a douche. And his whole thing is just that he's a troll a troll out in the world and disrespecting. And the Koreans, to their immense credit, just beat the shit out of him.
I was going to say, I don't know if you said he was or wasn't American, but the other thing I always find really interesting about people who take it that far and go to another country is you must be really counting on American privilege to protect you, because sheesh.
Yeah, he's a U.S. citizen, and he would show up to South Korea, to Seoul and other cities, and people just, because they'd see him streaming, they would list his location online, and random Korean men would just jump out of the woodwork and beat him.
Yeah.
So it was really, I loved watching him getting beaten to a pulp. That was fabulous because he's such a douche. And so now I'm complicit. Like you said, don't touch the poop. I'm like, did I touch the poop? Am I covered in it?
So. No, usually the don't touch the poop thing is you don't want, going with the theme of being a lol cow. If a cow is pooping in the field and you remove the poop, it then can be where did it go? Somebody is here watching me. And so you don't want to give way to the fact that you're watching this person in the entertainment.
I am so concerned. I have a new insecurity unlocked, and it is that this podcast, We Are LolCows.
Because we have been responding to the comments. A man insulted one of my tank tops, and I was not happy about it.
You crash out in the comments.
With that crash out's coming. It'll be. We're gonna read through the mean comments at some point.
No, I'm I can't wait.
How do you balance being authentic and vulnerable versus being a pick-me? And what's the difference between the two?
I don't know if they really, I don't know. Good question. I don't think you have to balance or think about it. I think you're either a pick-me or you aren't one. Basically,
interesting.
Yeah, social conditioning and your self-esteem and mental health and where you are in life. I think a lot of pick-me-ism stems from a lack of feeling worthy and liking yourself. And so you're seeking some sort of outward approval, external validation. If you are not insecure to that degree, you're not going to be thinking about well, I really want to make sure I'm not, selling whole so that someone gives me the time of day. You're just going to be living your life and existing.
Yeah.
Did you say selling whole?
Yeah.
That was pretty under the rug. It was smooth how quickly you kept going. Yeah.
People are like, how do you get away with so much? I'm I think it's the tone of voice and the speed. If you watch the hands, not the feet, they'll say
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So just had to.
You don't enter certain spaces ready to give yourself in that way if you are not lacking in that, in that way.
That's so okay. So in the same way that what's the expression, a sociopath is born but a psychopath is made.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're saying a pick-me is made.
Yeah. I think a lot of it comes again from social conditioning, which is where I also say, a lot of the ways that we talk about pick-me's or even other people who have unfavorable traits it can be seen as judgmental. And I understand the judgment because they do go on to make life very difficult to live for other people. Being friends with someone who is willing to sacrifice everything, including you and your friendship and your safety, to have the approval of a man or an opportunity or whatever the case may be. It's impossible to be friends with that person. What do you do?
Yeah.
And so I get the judgment. And oftentimes, you then can say you're an adult, you need to control yourself and examine what's wrong with you so you aren't going on to make people's lives difficult, including your own, to where you no longer feel bad for them and feel like you should reserve those judgments. I don't have empathy or sympathy for pick-me's who are 35, who are still saying horrible things about young women or telling young women they should be in terrible situations because they wish that they had been picked by someone and were married at 18. I don't have empathy or sympathy.
Yeah.
But I will say, women are conditioned to be pick-me's. You're conditioned to see a man as the goal. You're conditioned to see being married as the goal. None of the pegs of good man, respecting man, charming man, funny, successful ambition, none of those traits, happy marriage, enjoyable life, none of that's on there. It's just man, marriage. And so then you're conditioned to hate other women because they're your competition in attaining the marriage and the man. And so it's how are you? Most women are pick-me's as girls. I've had pick-me stages that were born of being taught to be a pick-me, and pick-me stages that were born of being insecure in certain, spaces. It then becomes, you have to see that and then figure out how you're going to work through it so you don't continue those problematic behaviors,
So you can come back from it. You can work your way out of being a pick-me.
Absolutely. And, the fortunate but unfortunate thing is oftentimes life experience is all it really takes. You go into a relationship thinking that the goal is the man, and then you see what that actually is like and what that entails. And you stop doing that shit because it didn't yield a good result for you, And so most women grow out of it. The ones who don't, it then becomes like a very...
You know what I'm thinking about? Do you remember when Lana Del Rey kind of crossed out maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and she said there needs to be a place for submissive women?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
I do.
Okay.
It doesn't surprise me. That.
And is it okay, I guess, is it possible to not be a pick-me but adhere to traditional roles in the relationship for women? Yeah.
Yeah. I think if you, of your own volition, want to be a stay-at-home wife or mother, and you like the dynamic where you're the homemaker, and you want a husband who works, and you've found a way to make that a healthy relationship and dynamic, absolutely. You can choose whatever dynamic that you want to be in. The pick-me-ism would be if you then tell other women or girls or people on the internet that they shouldn't be getting an education, they should only be staying home. That is the only acceptable lifestyle for a woman. It is your place to be in the home. Only his dreams. That's the pick-me.
I mean, how do you talk to these people? How do you talk somebody out of that camp? Because it seems like trad wives are sort of the big, I think, lightning rod for this movement, where I think of that girl, she must have been 19 or something. She posted it to TikTok about how she's...
Oh, was she like, I just got married at 19 and I've never had a job.
Gray dress.
I think so, yeah.
And she is maybe not the best example because, I mean, outwardly she seems happy, but that's also for TikTok, who can tell.
Yeah.
But I think of that one homosexual trying to burn the pride flag.
Oh my God. He was so gay, he couldn't even get it. He couldn't even do the lighter because he was that fucking gay.
Horrible.
We'll show you after. It's actually hilarious.
He's trash garbage. And
if you watch it at the start of it, you're going to think this is an SNL skit because he's failing so bad.
But he's the same sort where he's very convinced that he's one of the good ones because he's a patriot and he loves America and whatever else. So he fixes his mouth to get on the internet and say, gays are not oppressed. Point to me to where they're oppressed. And it's not for other gay people. This is just so that the stormtroopers in charge won't find him. And I'm like, how do you talk to them? What do you say to those people?
Honestly, it depends. Depends who it is. Depends how old they are. Depends on what they're saying, which is such an annoying answer. But it's like...
I'll tell you what I said to him. I called him a failure.
I was going to say, I'm sure expletives is where the mind immediately goes. I usually resort to talking around instead of talking to them because what they hear from someone on the internet probably won't make much of a difference. Sometimes it does, but I, again, think it's usually time and people around them who have sense being able to be like, you shouldn't feel like you have to do all of this shuck and jiving to be accepted and normal. But yeah, I usually have conversations around them. I think I did respond to one guy who posted a video that was very much so that he was, he had acrylic nails on and lip gloss. And he was, what did he say? He was like, I gave up on the LGBTQ community as soon as they changed the flag. I don't even, whatever the script. And I was just like, I've heard it before. I'm very tired. But at the same time, it's just like, do you think that those people feel that way about you? Do you think that they would want you to be in their kitchen with lip gloss and glued on fingernails?
We're very long nails. Yeah.
As much as you are doing out here to pretend that this is going to make you a favor of theirs or get you picked.
Yeah.
They're still going to believe what they believe. They're still going to be incredibly homophobic and hope that no one in their life comes out like you. That is who you. I mean, that's the truth of it,
It is.
And I feel that way whenever I see a Black Republican, and I say this as a veteran. I was a Black Republican at 15 and 16. Not that it was worth a damn, but it's I thought I was, I wanted to be associated with that group for some apparent reason. Though I will put on the record, I was a taxes Republican, not a racist or homophobic one. I just just believed in pulling yourself up by your bootstraps and not paying taxes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Still ridiculous.
In this house, we hate taxes.
They fucking tanked the economy yet again. So
Yeah.
it's like, but no, it's like, I feel that way whenever I see a Black Republican or a gay Republican or a woman who's an anti-feminist. It's like, even if you could find somewhere to validate those perspectives, look at who you're cheerleading for. All of those people are going to say, thank you for reciting the script. When can you go to conversion therapy?
Totally.
Thank you for reciting the script. Why did you leave the kitchen?
Yeah, right. No, you can't live next to me.
They will still, and I feel the same way again when people are like, well, you can be nice and disagree with people and have different politics. Sure, I'm sure the KKK members would have great smiles as they walk to the ballot to vote to put me back in chains. Like, I don't know what you want me to say, but there's not much. I don't usually have a conversation with them. I usually post a video and defeat whatever arguments they make for other people. And then if it's ever people in my personal life, which thankfully it's not, if they're young enough, I typically take a more empathetic approach. Sure. Like I find in a lot of the feminist conversations, just because there's so much bad PR around feminism, mostly due to misogyny, partially due to bad representation, nobody really knows what it is and like what anybody is doing. And so I'll just say, you can be the stay-at-home wife. I love that for you. You can even be the stay-at-home girlfriend. Scares me a bit, but if that's what you want to do, I'm not going to fight you. I just want to make sure that you are taking care of yourself. Yeah. That is where I turn the conversation. Be picked if you want to be picked, but be picked by someone who treats you well and make sure that you're taking care of yourself. And I keep trying to reroute it back to you, self-respect, like security, safety, you, instead of the validation from this other group of people.
Sure.
So we've talked a lot about we've talked about women, we've talked about gay people. The most foul of pick-me's, I think, are straight men. Have you had any run-ins lately with straight men pick-me's?
Oh, yeah. And they're the worst kind. They're the worst kind.
Are we talking like Tips Fedora Milady kind of pick-me?
Well, that's how it manifests, though. Like, the unfortunate thing is, like, the insecure straight man who then becomes like a sad boy pick-me. Nobody ever likes me. Have to leave me because everybody else does. I'm just so surprised that I'm good enough for you and I'm dating you. Like, I can't believe you picked me. You really like me. I have to ask my husband if I can ask you out.
Has a guy really said that? I can't believe. Well, I mean, you're stunning, so I'm sure you get that a lot. But guys really say that, and they think it's a compliment. How do you have sex with someone who says that to you?
Well,
Sorry, this got real personal. I just am like, ooh, no.
Very rare.
Gone.
I'm like, the thing that probably makes people do things repeatedly that work, right? And so the pick me male who's like insecure and takes on this like, please like me, like blah, blah, blah persona, they do it because it appeals to women who are empathetic and like it seems endearing. Oh my God, he must think I'm so beautiful. Like, why would you say that to me? Like, wow, I'm you can't believe I'm dating you? Like,
it's manipulative.
It's manipulation. It's a massive red flag because obviously the goal is to find someone who is self-assured enough to know that you deserve each other, like you're healthy adults. But no, the insecure, nice guy, pick me, blah, blah, blah. It's very gross. And they always turn out to be incredibly manipulative. They try to sabotage your entire life because they hate themselves. It's very gross.
I mean, they take on another worse form. They metastasize into incels. They metastasize into red-pilled men where they get it into their heads like, okay, fine, women won't pick me. I want to be the worst version of myself. So the bros, this one's for the boys. Fuck them bitches anyway. Right. They start calling women females all the time, and then they get noticed by whoever the alphas are in their orbit online and hope one day they'll be an Andrew Tate kind of Liver King influencer. Like that to me, I see Liver King, I see pick me.
Yeah, I wish that people understood, and maybe they do understand to some extent, or maybe they don't, but I wish that they understood how much people put on a show for the internet, because I think so much of the messaging, people would take a second and decide if they want to receive the messaging, if they would remember you should be listening to people who actually live good lives. Like, I don't want to live a life like Andrew Tate. I don't want to live a life like a pick-me Republican girl. I don't want to live a life like half of the people I see who post about their relationships. I don't want to be these people. I don't want to be near these people. Like, similarly to how most people probably don't want to grow up and like live and die alone for their entire, like, you know what I mean? And so then it's like, well, how happy do you think a group of men sitting in a stinky basement, like talking about how much they hate bitches 24/7 are.
Yeah.
Like that is how you spend your day. No family.
Yeah.
Like as you're telling other people to get wives and families or whatever the hell. It's like, I don't want to be you. And why would you want to be that? You know, there are people who are waking up happy in the apartment or house of their dreams, or building towards the apartment or house of their dreams, or and then they wake up and they go to a job that they like and they have regular.
No, you don't have a job.
Please. And you go to
Hey, do you want to talk about the pick-me men who are married to women that you've been fucking for the last 30 years?
You leave Tom Cotton out of this.
Ladies, you're both beautiful.
Sorry, Danisha.
But like people live lives that they want to live and they have good social lives. And like, why would I promise you that they're not doing that on the internet? And so I'm like, if someone is making those types of videos and creating that type of content, you probably shouldn't be taking their word for much unless that is where you're trying to go.
Yeah. You mentioned something earlier that really got me thinking, where you'd said that it depends, like engaging with the person who seems to be circling that drain, right? Like whether it's a trad wife wannabe or whatever, homosexual who LGP minus the T.
Yeah.
You'd mentioned you engage with them depending on their age, or if tell me more about that calculation, about what to you says I could maybe still reach this person, or it's just not worth it.
Not a lot of the time I think I can reach people, to be honest, if they're in that sphere. I think distance is very difficult. I think by the time I see a video, a lot of people have already engaged with it. And if the engagement is negative, people tend to shut people out versus listen. Also, I factor in what mood I'm in. Like, am I in the mood to really bash someone over the head because they're causing problems? Or do I want to take a more empathetic, soft approach and maintain a faux moral high ground? You know, it's like it's hard to tell. And you never can guarantee what's going to work. You know, it's kind of throwing something at the wall. And so I think I just try to figure out what is the best use of my time. If someone is young enough, like, I don't know why, again, anybody is listening to 19-year-old girls about successful marriages and successful lifestyles. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Of course you're happy with whatever dynamic is happening right now. Please, where are the 45-year-old trad wives? That's who you should be hearing from, whether they are successful or not. But if someone's young, perhaps there's some sort of commentary I can give there if they see the video, if they see the message. But I just never bank on that being the win. And that's an audience of one versus turning the attention and conversation to an audience of potentially millions. And here's what you can learn from There was a girl who has been posting recently about how she's going to go and live in Afghanistan for her boyfriend that she met on Snapchat.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And she followed me when I saw those posts. And I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing here? You know what I mean? Like, how did, you know, so there's only so much you can do and you can say to people because you're also going against one. I always say, like, my voice is not going to be louder than the voice in your head. Whatever you are telling yourself or whatever conclusion you've come to, I can't get close enough to your ears to be louder than your brain. It's just not going to happen. Or the people in your life, you know, you could watch a video of mine and think I'm the smartest person on earth and you want to live just like me. And then you go out in your day-to-day life and everyone around you says that's stupid, that's dumb, and you're going to listen to the people who are closest to you. And so I don't think that the messaging for me will ever be what changes someone's mind if they're already posting. Perhaps the influx of attention from everyone will do something, but then it's the coin toss of, does it make them open up and listen, or does it make them shut everybody out?
And double down. And
you know, I think it's really life experience that ultimately ends up being the change. You know, they decide they're going to do something, or they become known for something online, and then they have to watch how that influences everything around them. You post a really crazy take and all of a sudden nobody wants to go to lunch with you anymore, and nobody wants to, you know what I mean? And then they can kind of put those pieces together themselves. You fly to Afghanistan and you discover that there's no women in the streets, and tomorrow you are not a woman in the street. So like, you know, you kind of have to hope that people put together the pieces on their own sooner than later. But if not,
well, the 20-year-old trad wife who's happily married isn't the 45-year-old trad wife whose kids now hate her and love the dad who was never around, and they're divorced, you know, so.
She's not the one leaving the courthouse with no credit card and no money and no place to live and no credit score and hasn't had a job or resume in years and no family because they've been isolated for the past 20. Like, you know, and I think that's also what has always confused me about people, specifically about the advice that I give, and maybe advice that I'm sure others have given as well. It's like, I don't really care about the decisions that you make in your life. I don't lose when you lose. I don't win when you win, unfortunately, but I also don't lose when you lose. And so if you can pick whatever life you want, but consider that the goal is like getting the life that you want, which I would hope includes health, safety, money, happy relationships, something to that effect.
Yeah.
Why would you not want to give yourself some sort of insurance?
Yeah.
Why would you not want to make sure you have a job, even if you're going to be a stay-at-home wife, or have some take his money if that's what it is. You know what I mean? At least
Okay, now we're talking.
I am locked in.
But even I'm like, I'll even meet you there. Like if you don't want to work and you don't think you have to work, whatever allowance he's giving you, take half of that and put it aside somewhere.
Yeah.
The bags that he's gifting, oh, that's so sweet, honey. Back to the store. Like we as quick as possible. Make a Depop. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, just
Keep the first Birkin afterwards.
it's the first one. All of a sudden, honey, I don't have to take them all out. I don't want to show,
This is for everybody on the days here. If you could open up an institute, a rehabilitative institute for one flavor of Pick-me, what institution would you open up and where? Who's it for?
Fuck. How many wings can it have? Can we dine shop? Can we put them all in there? I don't know. Okay, so part of my mind initially goes to the insecure male Pick-me, but that could be because I just have such a disdain from personal life experience, and I'm becoming like a bitter old hag.
So a lot of electroshock therapy.
It could be like whatever they got in there. And then it's like, okay, well, you try to take that away from yourself and think like, well, there is more harm that men do when they're insecure because they do go down the incel pathway. But then I'm like, I care more, no offense, about the betterment of women. And so it's like, if I choose the women and I rehabilitate the women, they will go on to live better lives and can just avoid the Pick-me incel men.
Sure.
So maybe I would rehabilitate Pick-me women. So I would start young. I would start with the young ones and target the way they're socialized.
Okay, so the Danisha Carter Institute of Pick-me Girls, rehabilitation for Pick-me girls.
Starts at 12. Send them here, 12 to 19. And then we have like a what do they send you to when you like stop doing crack and like you're allowed to be
A halfway house.
Halfway house. And like a halfway house from 20 to like 25. And once you're fully clocked in, you're free to roam.
Yeah.
Got it.
I like that.
Who would you rehabilitate?
We've already talked about it, but the gay Republican, they have to be stopped. And it's all just one big desperate cry for mommy and daddy to love you. They only are doing that because they were raised Republican and they still want their parents' love. And by the way, your parents are always going to hate that you do anal. Like that's just it.
Yeah, I've been thinking about, gay Republicans is a strong choice. I really do think my target demographic is any homosexual who's trying to chop the T off of the alphabet.
Yeah.
We got to stop those people. Not the T's, the ones we're trying to chop off. we LGB minus whatever. You people are sick. Where's my camera? You people are. That's who I'm going after. That homosexual tried to light that flag on fire. Yeah, we got to do something about that.
Is there an additional flag that corresponds with the trans community? Was that
No, it's just the newer gay pride flag with the chevron and the trans colors added, and I like the flag. I don't care for rainbow much.
I was about to say, if it were up to me, we would have like a nice solid olive or like a nice rust, but I'm cool with the rainbow.
I think y'all need a "Don't fuck with me" flag. I like black, red, like something that's really like not this tiny sister.
Yeah.
We could try and retake the "Don't tread on me" flag.
Ooh, they'd be mad as fuck.
I would love, that's camp. Okay, that's actually kind of camp. I'm on board with that. Okay. But yeah, that would be my institute for rehabilitation, would be for the gender essentialist homosexuals. Tokens get spent. You know what I mean? We got
the leopards have an appetite. It's real crazy.
You just love faces this time of year. But okay, well that's it. If you want to donate to any of these institutes of rehabilitation, Danisha, where can the kids find you?
Danisha.Carter on TikTok, Danisha Carter on Instagram, on YouTube, just Danisha Carter. That's him.
Carter Cartel.
Carter Cartel, period.
Well, breadwinners, that's another episode of Let's Get Bread. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the show.